And welcome to the Buckeyes post-game show, first one of 2021 on a Thursday night in a rainy Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Buckeyes come away with a 45-31 win in their first game of the season in the Big Ten with a brand new quarterback who had never thrown a pass before in the regular season of a college game. And joining me for the post-game show once again, as he joined a few times last year, waiting for next year's Josh Paloha. And Josh, a good win for the Buckeyes, considering everything that was at stake. On the road, national TV, rain, windy weather. CJ Stroud, first ever start. They fall, they jump ahead, they fall behind, and then they rally back. So, yeah, there's a lot to work on, but go on the road, get a win like that. It's a good way to start the season.
It's a lot easier to say that you have a lot to work on when you put up 45 points and get a W on the road.
Right. Yeah. And CJ Stroud talked about, how his game was up and down, and it was. First game jitters, call it in the first half. He was not very good. Buckeyes trailed at the half, 14-10, and he missed wide open receivers. The interception was a throw behind his receiver that was tipped and picked off. But then I thought Ryan Day did a better job calling plays in the second half to benefit his quarterback, and I think that made it a lot easier. And the running game was pretty good too with Mayan Williams and some of the other guys in that running back room, Master Teague, although I don't know if he got hurt or they just, stayed away from him. But Travion Henderson, the true freshman, comes in and gets 3 touches, one of them on a screen pass for a 70-yard touchdown. So all of that helped CJ Stroud, I think, really loosen up, relax a little bit, and play better in the second half.
Yeah, after the game, he said it was his first game jitters. I mean, you're human. If you're going to go out there and play at Minnesota, game 1, Thursday night, they're wearing black uniforms. It was all set up to be like another Purdue game from a couple years ago.
Right.
But I was impressed with CJ Stroud. I mean, he had like I said, he had some first game jitters, but when he aired it out, it was like Cardell Jones-esque, where it looks like he just like flicked the wrist and it went 60 yards.
Yeah, he's got a good arm.
I was impressed. I mean, I saw a stat in the second half. He had 5 passes before that game-ending drive. 4 of them were touchdowns.
Right. 4 in a row, I think it was, too, that ended up going for touchdowns as he hooked up a great play call on the screen pass to Travion Henderson. And my goodness, we heard about this kid as a true freshman, right? And how good he was going to be, number 32. Remember that number, Buckeye fans? And the burst he showed when he caught that screen pass, and I tweeted it out, it was an NFL burst. That was just like shot out of a cannon, whoosh, and he was gone, man. He outran like 4 people to the end zone, and they might have had the angle on it.
A 19-year-old should not be doing that. He just made it look so easy. I mean, all offseason they were saying how good he is and can be. I didn't expect to see that type of play, though. I was expecting to see like a good running back, but that was like a burst. That was like Ted Ginn-esque.
Yes, it
was.
He
just like broke away from the defense.
And you bring up Ted Ginn, and who did I have a chance to talk to today at the Pro Football Hall of Fame as they were honoring Ted Ginn Sr. With the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Award. It was senior and junior joining us today live on the show. And so you brought his name up there with that burst, and you're right. Teddy had the greatest burst ever. His punt returns are legendary at The Ohio State. Just Google Ted Ginn Jr. punt returns, Ohio State, and you'll see 4 of the greatest punt returns you'll ever see. So, yeah, it's kind of funny you brought him up. We had a chance to talk to him today, and they were honoring his dad. And then as soon as that thing was over, everybody was headed home to watch the Buckeyes tonight. And Ryan Day continues to be undefeated in the Big Ten. How about that?
Yeah, I like you said, he struggled, I think, play calling in the first half, but that's also the first time that he's had like a first-year starting quarterback. Justin Fields came in with a little bit of experience. Okay. I mean, the entire quarterback room had exactly 0 passes going into this year. So I think it was kind of like a feeling out process, not only for Ryan Day, but just the offense as a whole. And as you can see in the second half, I mean, granted it's against Minnesota, but if you're scoring 4 touchdowns and 5 passes, I mean, what else can you ask for?
Yeah, pretty good second half as the Buckeyes put up 35 points in the second half to defeat Minnesota. You see on the bottom of the screen there the numbers. Stroud, 294, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Olave comes back for another year, and in his first game, 4 catches, $117, 2 scores. Mayan Williams, 9 carries, $125 and a touchdown. He hit a home run. Haskell the Rascal Garrett, as Gus Williams called him, with the 32-yard fumble return for a touchdown. And up to that point, the defensive line really hadn't done jack squat. And then you get, who was it? Harrison, I think, was credited with the sack and the fumble. Yes. And then it was Garrett who picked it up. And for a big man, he looked pretty good running that ball into the end zone.
Is there anything better in football than a big man touchdown? Seriously.
Did you see him give the OH too in the end zone after the score and everything? So good for him, man. The defense coming up with a big play. Also, I thought there were 2 questionable targeting calls in the game. And I'm not, you know me, Josh, I'm not a big fan of officials anywhere, whether it's Pee-wee, high school, college, the NFL. I can't stand them, right? I got to give them credit tonight. I thought they went to replay and they got both targeting calls or non-targeting calls right, not because I'm a Buckeye fan and they benefited the Buckeyes or didn't hurt the Buckeyes. I thought they were the right calls tonight.
That second one by Lathan Ransom, I think, was closer than it should have been because the guy got hurt. If the guy would have just gotten up, I think it would have been different. But yeah, PJ Fleck was, I was expecting it to be targeting a 15-yard penalty Minnesota ball, and instead turned into Ohio State ball, no targeting, and that was the game.
The way I saw it, I think the receiver had something to do with initiating the contact where it occurred. Okay. And so for me, I thought it was more of a glancing blow than a helmet to helmet, head on with intent. So I thought they got it right. And the reason that's important is, and let's change the graphic here for the bottom of the page with us. Next week's game on the 11th of September, Oregon, number 11 in the country, comes to Columbus to play number 4 Ohio State. And if either of those guys had the targeting call, they would have been thrown out of the game, and one would have missed the first half of that Oregon game, and then the other would have missed the entire game had the targeting call gone against the Buckeyes. So you got to always look ahead like that. And so that's why I thought, again, not because they were Buckeye players, I thought the right no call was made, and the Buckeyes do benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lathan Ransom, he, especially with Josh Proctor going down with an injury, he's by far the best safety on the team. So if he would have missed the first half of next week, that would have been a huge loss. Yeah,
big loss. Kerry Combs, defensive coordinator, the jury's still out on him. And from my Twitter responses tonight, Josh tweeting during the game at the Kenny Roda, a lot of people calling out Kerry Combs and this defense. Are we in an era where we should take heed of what Nick Saban said? That there aren't going to be any more great defenses in college football, that you're just going to have to outscore people and hopefully get a couple of big defensive plays like the Buckeyes did. They ended up creating 2 turnovers in that second half, both fumbles. Is that the way of the game of college football right now?
I mean, I feel like what Nick Saban says has to be true, right? He's
right.
The GOAT. He's the GOAT. I mean,
right.
I hate to admit it, but he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it comes down to just you have to outscore your opponent, I don't think I'd rather have any other offense in the country than Ohio State's right now.
Yeah, they did a nice job. Great balance. I think C.J. Stroud, after tonight's game, when he goes back to look at the film and everything like that, he will realize that even though they hit home runs almost all of their scores, I think the shortest score tonight was 30 yards or something like that, 32 yards. They were all home runs, right? Mayan Williams, 71 yards. Garrett Wilson, 56 yards. So yeah. They don't have to do that all the time. And I think he has to realize that his job is just the distributor. Get the ball to the player that's open or that the play was designed for on that play, and let the offensive line do their job, and let those skilled players around you, who are some of the best in the entire country, do their job. And here it was, game 1, 2 touchdowns for Olave, 1 for Wilson, 1 for Williams, and 1 for Travion Henderson.
When you have playmakers like that, yeah, like you said, just find a way to get in the ball. I mean, even with Travion Henderson, you threw a screen pass to him on 3rd and 5. You weren't expecting him to run for 70 yards. It's just when you have playmakers like Ohio State does, when they're faster, when they're bigger, just give them the ball even if it's 2 yards from the line of scrimmage or 70 yards from the line of scrimmage. I think Ryan Day finally realized that in the second half. We're just to get your playmakers open, no matter where it is on the field.
All right, we got some comments, some questions coming in. Kathy must have not watched the game or listened to the game. Kathy Jones, who won the game? The Ohio State Buckeyes won the game, Kathy, 45-31. So thanks for tuning into the Buckeye postgame show. I guess
I wouldn't
other things to do tonight.
Yeah, I would not have a smile on my face right now if Ohio State just started off 0-1.
Yeah, you would be frowning. Yes, and our Adam Cerny, our good buddy Adam, Ohio State played good. CJ Stroud played good. Travion Henderson is great. Laugh out loud. Yeah, everybody expected him to do big things, and in his first game, his first catch, he goes for a touchdown. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And Chris Olave, Adam, yes, big time. Chris Olave getting him back this year, no question. That's going to help CJ Stroud become a better quarterback throughout the year. All right, so Josh, let's go to the defense because offensively they scored, let's see, 45 minus 7 is 38. So offensively they scored 38. Defensively they scored 7. Defensively they gave up 31. Take away the 7, that's a minus 24 on defense and over 400 yards. Where are you concerned with the most about the Buckeyes defense moving forward into this next game against Oregon on September 11th at noon?
It would depend on injuries. Linebackers, I'm concerned just because it's all unknown. I mean, they're all three are first year starters.
Right.
Injuries, the Ohio State, I mean, they're known to be defensive back you. They always have a first round draft pick in the defensive backfield. That obviously wasn't the case last year. This year, it's supposed to be Sevyn Banks. He came out for warmups, but then he didn't play, so no one knows what's going on with that. And then Cameron Brown, who was the other starting cornerback, was listed on the pregame report with he was going to miss the game with undisclosed reasons. So Ohio State was without their top 2 cornerbacks, and then Josh Proctor, their starting safety, also went down. So it's hard. It's hard, I guess, like have an opinion on the defensive backfield when they were without 3 other 4 guys.
Okay, that's fair. The linebacker thing bothers me, though, Josh. When Steel Chambers has to convert from running back to linebacker, who was it? Was it Zach Bourne who did that as well? Remember that? Didn't he make the jump from fullback to linebacker? When you've got to do that, that worries me. And for as great as Ohio State is at recruiting quarterbacks and running backs and O-linemen and D-linemen and wide receivers, they used to be, along with Penn State, linebacker U. And it's been 3 or 4 years now where they've had any linebackers that could make a difference in a game. How concerning is that to you that, at least as of right now, nobody has stepped up and is trying to become that Andy Katzenmoyer or that, Bobby Carpenter or the little animal or anybody like that?
It's weird because, like you said, they haven't had a dominant linebacker in what seems like so long. But I also trust Al Washington, who's the linebackers coach, that he's going to get his guys in the right positions. They might not be the Ryan Shaziers of the world, like you said, or like Bobby Carpenters of the world. But if they can just like be average to good behind that dominant defensive line, I think that's all you need. You just need guys that are going to be able to guard guys in passing downs and just, I don't know. I feel, like I said, I feel like we've had questions about linebackers for like 2 or 3 years now.
Too many years in a row,
yes.
And that to me is somewhat worrisome. Help me out here. I did not see before the game or if anything was said in game. Jack Sawyer, true freshman, number 33, had a huge spring game. Now that's a lot different than this game where, it's a regular season Big Ten game. Did Sawyer suit up tonight? I think I saw, who was it? 44.
JT. I am not going to try to pronounce his last name.
We'll just call him JT, right? I saw him for a couple of plays. So I didn't see 33 on the field, though. Did I miss him on the field or did he not get in tonight?
I saw him in the third quarter. I know JTT got in first. JTT was in the first quarter, but without really paying attention in the first half on defensive line, I saw Jack Sawyer, number 33, in the second half.
So he did get at least one rep in the second half on defense.
Yes. I feel like Ryan Day and the defense, well, Kerry Coombs, I guess, they were rotating in a lot of guys defensively. I don't know if it's due to injuries or just like trying to see what they have, trying to get a feel for like who's the best combination. I don't know, but they were rotating in a lot of guys.
Yeah. So, and Adam Cerny just said Jack Sawyer played a few plays as well. So that's good. I didn't notice him. I was doing, a couple of things while watching the game and everything and preparing for the radio show tomorrow and our high school football game, which is going to be a doozy tomorrow. Canton South on the road at Northwest. Should be a lot of fun on WHBC and WHBCsports.com. So people tune in and listen to that one. How about this? Kid's name is Poochie Snyder, the quarterback for Canton South. How great of a name is that for a football player? Jack Poochie Snyder.
I want to change my name to that. Or the Alabama kid whose name is Kool-Aid and he got a Kool-Aid NIL deal. I want either Poochie or Kool-Aid.
Wow. And how about who's the kid from Clemson? Google, I think the quarterback. He was in the Dr. Pepper commercial today with the NIL, and you had the boss saying, "What? You're allowed to be in commercials now?" I mean, this is going to be crazy for college sports, isn't it? The NIL, name, image, likeness.
Yeah, I feel like if you just have a really cool nickname, you're going to get some money. Like, why not just do it? Like, if you're a high schooler right now, come up with a really cool nickname to get yourself some money.
Well, who's the Ewers, right? The quarterback for Ohio State. He leaves his high school, skips his senior year, enrolls at Ohio State, probably will redshirt this year, or they may play him a couple of games, but you can do that and still redshirt. He signed like $1 million NIL deal just to sign autographs for the next 3 years. He's not even playing.
$1.4 million to sign his name. How do I get that deal?
Right? I mean, come on. Geez. See, Josh, you went to Ohio State, and Josh Ploha is our guest here on the Buckeyes postgame show, waiting for next year. Check out the website and that. Josh does a great job writing in that. See, if you were back in school now, Josh, you instead of writing like for Game Day magazine, you could have got with your boys and all the guys you knew down there, like Deshaun Thompson, right? Or Deshaun Thomas, right? And those guys on the basketball, and you could have set up your own TV show, and you could have got big bucks, man. If this happened when you were in school.
I wish. If I could do this for a living and make money off of it, I'd like talk Ohio State all the time. Count me
That's
in.
the dream job right there. Well, do it, man.
Absolutely.
What are you waiting for? Instead of joining me, start your own YouTube channel. OSU Josh or something like that. And with all your connections, get all those guys on the show and just talk Buckeyes basketball and football, whatever's in season, because there's always something to talk about, whether it's in season or out of season with recruiting and everything. So do you expect the Buckeyes to be the representative from the Big Ten in the college football playoff again this year? I know it's only one game, but at least you got to see them play a game. And next week probably will give you a better idea, but I'm asking you after what you saw tonight, are you expecting them, even with a first-year quarterback, to be the team representing the Big Ten again?
Yes. It's just, I mean, until they don't win the Big Ten, right, I'll always predict them to win the Big Ten. The train just keeps on rolling. Yeah, they don't rebuild, they reload. It just keeps on rolling.
Great way to put it. And until Michigan can beat Ohio State,
never, ever.
The Buckeyes are the favorites, and Penn State's in there too. I think there will be some games and some adversity like they face tonight that they'll have to deal with. And even if they lose next week because it's a non-conference game, okay. And I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how good Oregon is. I know they've got a very good defensive end that they will have to deal with there. Munford's going to have his hands full next week and everything. But even if they do lose next week and they run the table, win the Big Ten, they're going to be in the Oklahoma. I'm giving you my four: Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Ohio State in the Final Four. You in agreement with that, or you like somebody else?
What? Oklahoma, Clemson, Alabama?
Yeah.
I think Saturday night, Georgia Clemson could be very telling for that prediction.
Okay. All right.
Because I feel like Georgia finally is good. They always were like supposed to be good.
Right.
And they weren't good. I feel like this year they might finally be good.
We'll see. It'll be a fun game to watch on Saturday night, and the Buckeyes get a few extra days to prepare now for Oregon after the win tonight. You see the numbers on the bottom of the screen right there. They come from behind, down 14-10 at halftime, score 35 points in the second half as they beat the Minnesota Golden Gophers 45-31. C.J. Stroud in his first ever game throws for 294, 4 touches and 1 pick. Olave, a big game. Mayan Williams, I remember him from Cincinnati LaSalle from a couple of years ago. I watched him take down Massillon at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, and here he is, maybe along with Travion Henderson, the best running backs on the team.
He was committed to Iowa State and just like a 3-star running back. No one really thought much about him, and then Ohio State, for some reason, must have saw something in his film. And I think they made the right decision. And I think he made the right decision.
Deepest running back room they've had in a long, long time. And C.J. Stroud just keep handing it off and getting it to those guys, in the open field and let them do their magic afterwards. And I wrote it down here, Joshy. Mayan Williams, 71-yard touchdown. Chris Olave, 38-yard touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 56-yard touchdown. Haskell, the rascal Garrett, a 32-yard touchdown return on a fumble recovery. Travion Henderson, 70-yard screen pass. Chris Olave, second touchdown, 61 yards. Think about that. The shortest touchdown the Buckeyes had in this game was 32 yards, and that was on defense.
That is crazy. And before we forget about playmakers, I just want to, pour one out for Minnesota's Muhammad Ibrahim.
Yes.
He dominated Ohio State, and it looks like he tore his Achilles, and he's done for the year.
Is that what it was? I saw him walking with the boot, and he was kicking their ass, man. And if he stays in the game, I think it's a lot closer finish than, what it ended up being. But if it's a torn Achilles, man, that's devastating for that.
That's 12 months.
Yeah. He's done it to Ohio State twice now. And that was in 3 quarters. He put up 139 in a couple of touches.
He had 30 carries, 163 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Did he at 160? I didn't realize that. Holy cow.
He was dominating.
Damn. So we wish him a speedy recovery. And
absolutely.
I hate to hear that for anybody in sports when it's the Achilles like that, especially when it's the first game it's like I brought this up today and talking with Ted Ginn Jr. Returns the opening kickoff in the 06
why do you have to bring this up?
National. Well, I wanted. Here's why I brought this up. I'll share it with you and anybody watching the show right now. I said, there were rumors that in that national championship game, which was the 06 season, 07, national title game, because it was played in January, that you were going to be featured in like 30% of the offense, that there was a huge package in there for you to go against Urban Meyer and Florida. That's the rumor out there. Can you confirm that? He said, absolutely. He said, I was going to do a little bit of everything. Wildcat, jet, quarterback, motion stuff and all of that. And he returned and I'm there and he's running right towards me in the end zone, man, in Arizona. And Roy Hall celebrating, steps on his foot and busts up his foot. And after one play, Ted Ginn's done. And so Jim Tressel's sitting there thinking, well, that's 30% of our offense gone. And Troy Smith was on the Heisman Trophy banquet circuit at that point. So he was a little, hefty at the time, and they were a little banged up on the offensive line. So that's the thing that bothered me about that game. And then the loss last year to Alabama. Twice now, when the Buckeyes have played in a national championship, injuries have really hurt their chances. I don't know if they would have won either one, but I guarantee you it would have been a lot closer than 41-14 to Urban and Florida that year with Tim Tebow as a freshman. And I think it would have been a lot closer with what was last year, 52-28 if Trey Sermon doesn't go down. And you had a couple of other players that didn't even dress for the game and another player that went down in the game. So some key injury. Oh, and Justin Fields was playing injured too because he got speared the week before, by the Clemson linebacker. So it's just frustrating that you can't be at 100% when you're playing for all the marbles. And twice that's happened to Ohio State.
I know recently, I think last week, 2 weeks ago, Ryan Day actually commented on that. And because reporters were asking him, like, how upset is he about how last season ended? And he said, it stunk losing in the national championship, but the way it happened due to injuries and COVID, and they were without like 3 defensive linemen. He said, I mean, if they would have had a full team, things would have been much different. It wouldn't have been a blowout, at least. But hey, it's on this season.
Put it in the rear view mirror, look out the windshield, and drive forward, man. And a good start, even though it wasn't a thing of beauty. There are some things to work on. The Buckeyes go on the road in game 1 in the Big Ten in windy, rainy weather with a first-year starting quarterback and get that win 45-31 over Minnesota. Next up, it is the Oregon. Are they the Mighty Ducks, or do they just go by the Ducks? Are they
just the Ducks? But that'd be awesome if they were the Mighty Ducks.
Wouldn't they? I would adopt that. Maybe there's a rights fee, and that's why they don't want to do it, right? So they're just the Oregon Ducks. So we'll see what uniform they bring next week to Columbus to play the Buckeyes, and that's a noon kickoff on Saturday, September 11th. Josh Poloha,
in a packed stadium. A packed stadium, too, right. Sold out.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, you going down? You trying to get tickets for that one, Josh, or what?
I will be down there. We'll see what kind of deals I can make with.
Okay, I was going to say what it's going to cost you to get that ticket, right?
It's always best when it's like just before kickoff and there's a drunk guy stumbling. He's like, "Hey, who wants to go to the game?" Hey, I'll take.
Here's $20. I'll take that ticket off your hand. Go grab a 6-pack. Josh, thanks for jumping on tonight. I'll check in with you throughout the season to join me here on the Buckeyes postgame show, and hopefully this is the start of what should be another fun season for the Buckeyes as they get the game 1 win. And let's hope, like we said, they end up in the Final Four. All right, bud?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, and go Bucks.
Go Bucks. There he is, Josh Poloha, checking in with us here on the Buckeyes post-game show. We always appreciate Josh stopping by. Appreciate you stopping by as well. We'll do this after all the Buckeyes games this season, the post-game show here on Facebook. We'll let you know on Twitter. You can send in your questions, your comments. We'll try and answer as many of those as we can. It's a late night. What is it, 12:30? So past a lot of people's bedtime. So we're going to wrap this thing up right now. Like I said with Josh, a good win for the Buckeyes. They're 1-0. And it's on to Oregon in the week 2 game at home against the Ducks to try and go 2-0. That's the great thing about being 1-0. Gives you the opportunity to go 2-0. Thanks for joining us, and go Bucks.